Well, today we have a very special guest in the studio with us today, a movie producer. And I love talking to these creative minds and people. I have in the studio with me today Jeff Martin. He's the producer of a movie that we're going to introduce you to here in just a few moments, Undivided. But maybe you were one of the folks that went to the theater and watched the film called Lord Save Us from Your Followers. He certainly was involved with that movie as well. Jeff, what a delight to have you in the studio. I wish I had you for about 4 or 5 days. I just love getting into the mind of you creative people and how you see things before they ever are seen on film or on television. It's just amazing. So nice to have you with us. Just briefly, before we get into Undivided, how did you felt Lord Save Us from Your Followers went? Because it was a fun thing to watch.
Yeah, well, it went great here in Medford, thanks to you.
Yeah,
It's been a phenomenal experience, and it has long legs. You know, we made the film on a hope and a prayer, and hope that people would respond to a couple of Christian guys taking a hard look at themselves and the things that they believed, and my partner went out and met people all over the country, and what we find is that we're getting feedback every day from disenfranchised believers, atheists, agnostics, family members, estranged family members. If you just read the comments on the Netflix website, it's just amazing. Every day people are affected by that film. It's been really fun.
Well, again, did you come up with the idea?
Yeah, actually, I did, yeah.
Really?
I was in a...
Why? I mean, what was going on in your life that made you do that?
Well, I was actually on a business panel talking about men of faith in business, and I had just started a company that was set out to make a kind of a different brand of Christian film or Christian content embedded in entertainment. And Donald Miller was speaking, and he told the story of the confession booth at Reed College. Wow. And I went back to my partner Dan, who was writing another screenplay, and I said, what if we did a film that just sort of took on the things that drive people crazy about Christians, and we just apologize, and we explain, and we just move on.
Yeah.
And he literally took his laptop and he closed it and said, that's our film. And whatever he was writing, I don't know what he was writing, but we haven't produced that. But we started on a journey that day, and I raised the money in little increments at a time until we could get it all made, and we distributed it ourselves, and that has its challenges. Yeah. Literally the one sure thing that you always had was Hollywood Video. If you had a good movie that won awards and you knew it was good, you'd always have Hollywood Video and your revenue share there to pay back your investors. The day our 20,000 DVDs arrived at Hollywood Video, they went bankrupt, shut their doors, sold the 20,000 for $2 a piece out of the trailer. So it was a journey. It was a crazy journey the whole way, and still is.
I think you touched a real nerve, because you made us Christians take a hard look at ourselves, how we're being perceived by those who don't believe, and at times we got to get past these stereotypes to really do what God called us to do. Tell us about Undivided, because it's a unique concept, because I think there's something going on here in Medford that may have tied into what you're trying to convey here.
Well, there is a common grace movement afoot. We didn't invent it up in Portland or at South Lake Church, where we were involved in this project. I think people are realizing that people of faith are ready and able to do some great work and work that's needed, and we've been doing it for years, but people don't know about it. You know, at the end of Lord Save Us, the last third of Lord Save Us is where we show different service projects around the world and around the country that shock people who are not Christian folks, that they don't see that stuff every day. We don't advertise it. We don't wave a banner, and so that is a surprise to people that great and beautiful things are going on in the faith community for believers, non-believers. You know, no strings attached is a surprise to people, and it's happening all over the place. And the Undivided project is really just connected to be one church and one school, but there's all sorts of beautiful things.
So the theme of that is what? Undivided.
Undivided is a story of a suburban church that chose to reach out to a under-resourced urban school, and in the story of the kind of the amazing things that happen between these unlikely friends. You know, you'd think in Portland churches wouldn't be allowed in the schools, but we've actually been embraced by the school system because of the way we handle ourselves. Part of the very important thing, to handle ourselves in ways that don't give people concerns about church and state. Church and state issues aren't fully understood, but any community of people can go in and serve.
I'm beginning to sense and feel this. It's more and more churches are getting out of the pew, so to speak. A church here linked with one of the grammar schools and put the kids together to raise money to dig wells in Haiti. And it was a huge success. After the big fires down in Southern California, I think it was David Jeremiah's church, Shadow Mountain Church down there, he got up one Sunday, I think I have the story correct, but if I don't, forgive me, but I think he got up and said, you know, hold up your tithe check, and they did, and they said, all right, we're going to put this in a fund and go out. He said, I drove past 3 schools that were demolished in the fire. We're going to go back and rebuild those schools. Yeah. And it's those kinds of things that I think is, you know, this is turning things around.
Well, you know, the politicians and the people that run our cities and our communities are running out of options. And we literally have a situation where the things that we took for granted, raising our children and being raised, you know, shop classes and all that, automobile mechanic classes, and cut. And the interesting thing about the church and the body inside the church, all the people, is that the church represents every skill set needed to run our society. We have nurses and ambulance drivers and parking lot pavers and delicatessen owners and doctors and lawyers and everything, grocers, and everything is there. Everything that society needs is usually embodied in a 200-person to 10,000 person congregation. Right. Yet we sit over here isolated from from how it's all run. And all that happened in this case of this one church and this one school is like, let us fill the gaps. What issues do you have? Some kids arrive hungry. That shouldn't be hard for 3,000 people to figure out how to make sure 50 kids aren't hungry. Right. Some kids arrive without a coat. Yeah. It's cold in Portland. It rains. Right. It's not cool to carry an umbrella, so you gotta figure out another way. And churches can do that stuff easily. We can't go in and we're not going to teach. That's their job. That's wonderful. All right, let's take a look at there's a little trailer here that Jeff has brought of Undivided, his latest movie. Let's take a look, take a listen.
The death of 17-year-old Joseph Ray Winston has left various neighborhood organizations intensifying.
1 out of 7 kids at Roosevelt is homeless.
People are very, very clear in some cases. I don't want my child going to that school.
One of the things about the suburbs is we're nice. And I did a study of the word nice once. It comes from a Latin word meaning to ignore. And we are good at ignoring.
And the original idea was simply like a one-day cleanup day.
I knew a lot of people would come, but I didn't know how many. And, you know, I was more shocked than anybody when 1,500 people showed up.
Everybody was kind of walking around with tears in their eyes because something had happened, you know, and that was kind of the start of it.
I've never seen anything like it. I hope more churches will emulate what Southlake's doing.
Well, the school, they're the experts. They're the educational experts. They know what their needs are. Can we help fill the needs?
She began a clothes closet where people could donate clothes, and every morning kids could come in and basically take what they needed, no questions asked.
There's a fear there that, you know, these church people are going to come in evangelizing and trying to get all your kids and your staff saved.
The best way to convince people that you don't have an agenda is to not have an agenda.
Southlake's approach is more of, let me show you through the works, through my actions, what love really is.
turned out to be a lot more stuff off the field than on the field, which was hard. Day by day, it was very hard for me.
I told him, Neil, they're not going to care who you are until they know you care about them.
You know, it's not about coaching there, see, it's about mentoring and being a father and being a brother and being a parole officer.
Suddenly Nike decides they're going to give these kids uniforms, and suddenly Nike decides they're going to head up the effort to get an artificial turf put out there. Suddenly Nike just decides they want to be part of what's going on.
I was so jacked, so excited to have our kids, have our players get to play on a real field.
This is a beautiful thing. This is putting your faith to work, putting legs to your faith. And if there's a way to continue this, I want to be a part of it. I want to support it.
It's a beautiful story, I think, of a church showing up just to support an underserved school.
Wow, Jeff. Jeff Martin's with us today, and he's the producer of what you just saw, and those of you listening on radio just heard, a new movie coming out called Undivided, and bringing the community and the church together. You know what's so interesting about what you're doing here, Jeff? I don't know of a community or a school that is not being affected by the economy. Mm-hmm. And instead of cutting and running and saying, well, this is the last days, Jesus is coming at 4 o'clock on Friday, why bother? Yet it opens the door for the biggest opportunity to serve our fellow human beings than we've ever seen. Are we going to seize the moment?
Yeah, I'll tell you, that's exactly how I feel about it. The church has been complaining about the walls that have been put up between the faith community and the secular community, the government, the government institutions. Government will take our help if we can embrace a quiet evagelism, if we can be the hands and feet of Jesus, if we can be comfortable that there's a way to serve, given the way our society runs now, when we can do almost anything we want. They haven't, because we started slowly at this school. We went in there, we did a cleanup day. They asked us for a little help. We quietly set up a little clothes closet. But because trust was built up, because we didn't reach in our pocket and hand out a tract every opportunity that we had, because we were comfortable with sort of a quieter approach, they've completely embraced Southlake Church's role in their schoolwork. We can participate in any area that we want, and they trust us. So if we were to make a mistake, and if somebody was a little zealous and took the opportunity to invite somebody to church in the wrong situation, right. What a sin. But but if they did, they would go, hey, and it'd be simple. If you go in going, here's my agenda. Here's how we want to serve you.
Yeah, as it was said there, the agenda is no agenda other than just meet a human need.
Yeah, meet a human need. We're comfortable with it, and it's fine.
I see this film as a great opportunity for churches to get a hold of it and show their congregation, say, hey, folks, we need to go from that pew to that community.
Mm-hmm. We are invited. We've run out of resources. We literally have one of the most secular cities in America. If I would say San Francisco, Madison, and Portland would be arguably the most liberal, secular-leaning cities in the country, major cities in the country, who has completely embraced church-school partnerships because of the model that Southlake set at Roosevelt High School. It's like, if you can do it like that, we want you there. I literally was with the head of Portland Public Schools, Carol Smith, and I used that track line, and if somebody was to hand out tracts, and she finished my sentence for me and said, you wouldn't be there. But we don't do that, so we are there. And the fact that we're there, people, and in the experience of Lord Save Us From Your Followers, when we ran around the country and asked people what they thought about people, people absolutely think they know what we believe. They don't always have it right, but they're positive they know what we believe. We don't need to tell them what they believe. What we believe. We just need to show them that we really can love like Jesus, and it's an open arms situation.
Or they know they know what we're against.
Yeah, they certainly know what we're against. We've done a fabulous job of that.
Okay. Is this going to be a national movement? Is this your hopes?
Yeah, it's our hopes. We're in the process of putting together a national plan for the release of the film. I think you're right. The focus of this project should be for senior pastors. The beautiful thing about a project like this is that we've given our pastors authority. And when a pastor stands in front of his congregation and says, we're going to go have a cleanup day at a school, and love's going to occur, and you don't know it yet, but it's going to be a great day, we'll go. If somebody at the United Way said that, or at at another large organization that rallies for supporting things, 15 people show up. But pastors we've given pastors authority. And this kind of movement is pastor-led, and that's another beautiful thing. If pastors will embrace this common grace idea, which is we just serve for the purpose of serving, to just be who Jesus wants us to be, and not get all worked up with outcomes and results and decisions for Christ and all that stuff. If we just will serve and pastors will lead it, this could be an American movement. And we have a lot of people who've seen the work, and we're just putting together the pieces to cause that to happen.
So how far are you out from having this thing ready to go?
With the election coming up in the fall and how that will be dominating things, this could be either used as a political tool or get overwhelmed by the noise. So the idea is an early winter release. We don't want to get too far into the spring where people are worrying about summer and all that. And very much making sure that pastors are at the forefront of our thinking.
All right, so people can go online, Google Undivided, and see you got a longer trailer. I think you have a 7-minute trailer.
You happen to be very early in this, and our websites are.
Hey, another
you
Dove
have an
exclusive
inside
here.
connection that you can explain at another time. So you are the very first people to see that trailer. You beat the Today Show. You scooped MSNBC.
We do it all the time.
Yeah. and so our website will be beundivided.com. It's not up. We're weeks away from completing that, and undividedthemovie.com, but we're not quite ready.
Have you seen a follow-through of people saying, what is this love all about? I want to learn more.
Yes. Yeah. The thing about it is that the interesting thing, and I think you'd find this to be true, is that why the people don't leave you. The people who are leading, Coach Lomax, I saw Neil Lomax, former professional quarterback. He has friends that he will have for a long time, and they know exactly what Neil believes. We've been very careful not to push the decisions for Christ agenda, knowing that, and that is an important issue to a lot of believers, and it is an important issue. Decisions for Christ is an important thing.
Well, you know,
but the thing is that the young women that run the clothes closet and the food pantry, these kids, they're like the most popular people in the school. So they have very dear friends who know very much what people believe.
You know, one of the things we've been tracking is if there was one emotion now that seems to be hovering over America, it's the emotion despair. Yeah. And so these schools are caught up in it, students are caught up in it, and when you just see love in action, you're hitting that nerve, you're hitting that emotion. As they're all saying, is you get to the head by going to the heart. You don't go to the heart to get to the head, or the head to get to the heart. But so by meeting that, I think you're really ministering in a way of the most emotional problem that's out there, and people are just looking to be loved.
It's true. You know, Pastor Tim Keller, New York City, says, and I agree with him, I don't want to steal his thought, is that the saddest thing is that people are rejecting something they don't fully understand. This is an opportunity. When people meet a Christian the way they meet the South Lake attendees who are there as role models and mentors and coaches and people providing services and solving problems, when they meet us, we're giving faith a chance in the lives of people who have no ability to find out about it. And schools, every child in America goes to school. We have a great chance here.
Well, Jeff, thank you for being with us, and thank you for letting us have a little bit of an exclusive on this, you and the folks at South Lake, and yet your creative mind and bringing this all together. God bless you. I can't wait till it's all out and we can have you back again.
We'll bring it to Medford and we'll show it like we did Lord Save Us.
Let's do
You'll
it.
be the boss of that one.
Let's do it, man. All right.
All right.
We'll be right back.
All right.